I don't want to say that I told you so, but I told y'all that Rerun and Island Boy were going to be the final two. Welcome back to Damien After Dark. If you're new here or you haven't subscribed yet, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers. Also, make sure you like the video so it can get shared out throughout the YouTube community and other people can find the video. And join the conversation. Make sure you comment below and let me know what you thought about this week's episode, as well as my commentary on this review. So we're going to do what we do best, and we're going to dive right into the review. So we're pretty much at the tail end of the season. To be honest, Zeus could have wrapped this up with this episode, and this could have been the finale, but in traditional Zeus fashion, they're going to stretch things out so they can keep your subscriber money. Yeah, this episode had a lot of filler in it, as the last few episodes have. Since we've lost a lot of the boys and we're down to just a few guys in the competition, the show's been a little boring, a little bit stale, but we're down to the very end. We have one more episode, and Bobby will be choosing who the winner of the show is, who he's going to be dating, or who he's going to fall in love with. We'll have to just see what genuinely happens. So the episode opens with the final four from last week, which we have Rerun, we've got Go Hard, we've got Island Boy, and we have Hercules. Island Boy, he comes up first. They're doing the ceremony to see who gets their chain and who's going to go home. Island Boy comes up first, and he presents his painting. If you remember last week, they had a challenge where they had to go on a date with Bobby, come up with their own date. And Island Boy's date was to do a sip and paint. So he painted Bobby, and he presented his painting to Bobby, which looked a fucking mess. I mean, we can all say that. Maybe Island Boy's just not obviously he's not artistic, but it just didn't look that good in my opinion. I don't think Bobby was that impressed either. Rerun said it was giving William the Baddest. I don't know about that. I don't know about William the Baddest. But Island Boy does get his chain, even though Bobby did not care for the painting. Every week, y'all notice from pretty much the beginning of the competition, Island Boy has gotten his chain first. That's why I've said I feel like he's going to win this. I mean, it just makes sense. They have the most chemistry, it seems. Now, Bobby brings Go Hard and Hercules up next. And he asked Hercules about the girlfriend. Of course, that's been a big issue for Hercules and Bobby. The fact that Hercules has a girlfriend back home. And is he going to break up with the girlfriend? Is he going to stop talking to the girlfriend? Hercules says yes, he's going to leave her alone. I'm just like, now Hercules, you know you're not going to leave this girl alone. I feel like, yes, Hercules probably likes men. I think he's bisexual. But I also think he has this emotional connection with this woman that he's been with, and it's going to be hard for him to leave her. Now, the first person Bobby sends home is Go Hard, and if y'all watch the episode like me, you can tell through their interaction that Go Hard just wasn't feeling it anymore. He wasn't really fighting for Bobby's love, so to speak. He didn't seem like he was there for it anymore. And even on his Instagram live, I watched an Instagram live of his. He said that he was ready to go home. There towards the end, he was just over it and he was ready to go home. I think Go Hard, wanted to be on reality TV. It was a little vacation for him. Maybe sure he thought Bobby was cute, but he wasn't really there to win Bobby Light's heart. Come on now. Do we really think that? Now, Rerun comes up next to Hercules. And after he sends Go Hard home, he's got Hercules, he's got Rerun right next to each other. And he asks Island Boy, who do you think is here for me? Choose. And, or who do you think should go home? I'm sorry. And, Island Boy says he thinks Rerun should go home. Now, if you remember, Rerun said he thought Island Boy is the perfect one for Bobby aside from him. But Island Boy don't have that same energy. Island Boy says, you know what? He's not here for you. He's an ex for a reason. The same things are going to happen that happened last time. And Bobby asked Hercules, would you delete your girl out of your phone for me? Would you delete her number completely? And he says no. He says, I wouldn't do that. I'm not pussy whooped. And I'm not going to be no hoe, as he says. I'm not no hoe, and I'm not going to do what you say unless we were a couple. And I agree with him. Like, no, I'm not going to delete people out of my phone. No, I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z for you right now unless we end up being exclusive. Like, when you're in that talking phase, you're not obligated to do anything like that. You're not obligated to say, hey, you can't sleep with X, Y, or Z. No. Claim me. Put a motherfucking ring on my finger. Then I'll do those things, right? Do y'all agree with me on that? I mean, I feel like it's common sense. Now, Hercules, he's not backing down when it comes to Bobby, or when it comes to his ex. He's not telling Bobby what he wants to hear. And Bobby ultimately sends him home. And I'm not going to lie, I think it was a good decision. I think it was best for the both of them. He wasn't giving Bobby what he wanted, which was to say, hey, you know what? I'm done with this girl. And in a sense, I see what Bobby's saying, though. Like, if you're here for me, tell me. I don't want to be with this woman anymore. And if you choose me, I'll block her out of my life and we'll be together. Like, that's what he wants to hear. He doesn't want to hear you say, like, oh, beat around the bush and teeter with it, you know? And I feel like Hercules was there for TV. He was a Canadian football player. I feel like he's trying to get his name out there, as most of these guys were. And he genuinely wasn't there for what he says he was there for. And like Bobby said, you can't compete with no girl. When you're a gay man and you're dating a bisexual man, you can't compete with no pussy, baby. They ain't the same. So unless he just likes dick and booty more than he does the pussy, there's no competing. All right, so Rerun and Island Boy are the final two. Go Hard got sent home. Hercules got sent home. And as I said, and like I told y'all, and like y'all probably saw yourselves. You saw this coming. The final two would be Rerun and Go Hard. These are Bobby's types. This is his type of man. He likes a tall, masculine type man. And I guess that's what you would call them. I mean, Rerun definitely is masculine, but sometimes I feel like Island Boy puts on a front and an act, because I feel like he's probably a little bit more feminine than what he lets on. But there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like he's putting on a little bit of a front to impress Bobby, because he knows that that's what Bobby likes. Now, I'm assuming Dingaling was disqualified, because if you remember, he was never eliminated or sent home. He just went to the hospital because his side was hurting. And I'm guessing that just disqualified him. I don't know. They didn't really give us an update on him. Now, Bobby tells Rerun and Island Boy, pack your bags. We're going to go to a, what did he say? Undisclosed location so we can get to know each other better. So I'm thinking, oh, are we going to take the boys on a trip? Are we going to go to Key West? Are we going to go to the Bahamas? Like, what are we doing? You know, most of the time on these shows, they do go away on little side trips. So I'm expecting us to go somewhere to this undisclosed location. Which later we don't see an undisclosed location. Did y'all notice that? Like, it looked like just a different, it looked like they had rented a hotel in Miami and this was the undisclosed location. So I don't know. They didn't really clarify. We didn't really get to see. We just saw that they were in a different location. That's for sure. Like, the building looked different. It looked like they were on like a balcony at a restaurant or something. I don't know. I personally think that Island Boy, Rerun, and Bobby should just call it quits and run off and be a throuple and live happily ever after. Because Rerun, y'all can't fool me. Like I've said before, and I truly believe this, I feel like Rerun and Island Boy have a little bit of underlying chemistry. And that's why they're always mean to one another, because they secretly want to do the do with one another. Am I the only one that feels that way? I don't know. I feel like they secretly want one another. Could you imagine if the show wrapped and Rerun and Island Boy ran off together and said, fuck you, Bobby? Like, say Bobby chose Island Boy. The show wraps. They're not filming anymore. Island Boy leaves Bobby alone and him and Rerun run off together. It wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me. I think they'd be cute together. That's just me. Because they fight. They fight like they're a couple now. Did y'all see them in the kitchen at the bar having drinks? It was just like ping pong. Boop, 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 boop. Back and forth with the little insults. They were picking at one another. And if you, there's moments, if y'all go back and watch, Island Boy is just like, cheesing at Rerun. Like this flirty look, like this flirtatious type look. And you can see it. And even one point when Rerun brought up the fact that me and Bobby we're looking for an entanglement and you're just part of our entanglement. I'm like, see. And if you go back and look, you can see when he brings up the entanglement, Island Boy is like, oh no, you would never use me like that or something. But he was grinning when he said it. He was eating it up. Like, you can't deny that shit on camera. You can see it. I don't know. I hope I'm not the only one that feels that way. So, did y'all also notice how when Island Boy told Rerun, all you make is $3,500 a month? That's all you make is $3,500 a month. You might as well be working a 9 to 5. You don't make shit off OnlyFans. And Rerun's like, oh, hold on a minute. I'm going to show you. I made $20,000 this past month or something like that. And he gets his phone out and he's starting to get ready to pull up the his bank statements, his account statements. And I'm getting ready to see if he shows it. Because he's acting super serious, like, I'm fixing to shut you down and show you how much money I make a month. Like, he was confident in what he was saying. But he never showed it. At least Zeus presented it that way. Maybe he showed it, but they never aired it. But I was assuming they were going to show him showing Island Boy his bank statements. I don't think he ever showed it. So, Rerun, do you actually have that kind of money? And it's okay if you don't. Just don't stunt and lie about it. Now, while Rerun and Island Boy are arguing, Rerun says that Island Boy is purple. And I'm like, is that a colorist comment that you're making, Rerun? Because that's not cool at all. Like, to say something like that, because I'm like, damn. Like, it's one thing for us to shade each other and read one another, but that's not a good look. That's not a good look for you, for your character, and who you are. And it made me just side-eye him and kind of have like this disgusted feeling because I always thought he was cute and I've known him before this show and I've always kind of liked him. But for you to say something like that, it was just kind of like, ouch, like that's kind of gross. Just because you're light-skinned, you feel like you look better because let's just be real. Island Boy is very handsome. And it's not that he looks any better than you. To me, y'all are just like equal. Y'all are both just as handsome. I mean, some would even say that Island Boy is more handsome than you are, Rerun. So for you to be saying he's purple, I'm just like, and you know, and at one point I noticed Bobby even pointed out, and he even said, don't be a colorist, because Rerun had kept calling Island Boy a shadow. But I thought he was just saying, like, you know, we can't see you. You're just our shadow. You're just there. I didn't think he was meaning it, like, as far as his skin color. But if that was the case, we got purple, and then you're calling him shadow. Like, that's just wrong all across the board. Because Island Boy is fine, okay? He may be a lot of things, but he is fine. Like, it was just wrong, Rerun. The whole color thing was just... it was just nasty. Now, B Famous, I guess that's Bobby's assistant's name, B Famous. He comes around. He talks to both of the boys privately. He brings up to Island Boy, Davion, which was Hot Wheels handler, there to help Hot Wheels. His like, you know, he was his assistant, if y'all remember Davion. And he brings up the whole handler situation to Island Boy, and Island Boy was like, you know, that was the first elimination. I don't want to talk about that, because B is pretty much like, you know, you did this. Bobby has these concerns. He has these worries that you may do something like this in the future. But Island Boy don't want to talk about it. But I do. We want to talk about it, Island Boy, and that's why I will be talking to Davion, who they call the handler, I will be bringing him on the YouTube show, and I will be interviewing him. I've been talking to him the last week, and we've been working out the details. So we will be getting down to the bottom of everything, Island Boy. Even though you don't want to talk about it, we're going to talk about it. So I will be having Davion on the show. Y'all give me like a week. I should be up about this time next week, hopefully. I'm hoping. So yeah, he doesn't want to talk about it. But, and I want to say as well, I say Davion because I feel like we should give him that respect because they've just kind of like had this narrative for him, calling him the handler, the handler, the handler. Davion is his name. That's what we will be calling him. And I feel like it was just unfair how he got thrown into it. Davion had no loyalty to Bobby, as I've said before. So I just want to get his side of the story because I feel like they painted him in one way and we really didn't get everything. So, now Bobby talks about how Island Boy, he's talking to his assistant B about Island Boy and Rerun. And he's like, you know, with Island Boy, he's more dramatic, he's more loud. You know, people from the Caribbean, from the islands, they're just expressive and loud and dramatic. And I don't know how I could handle that really. And Rerun, he's just always talking about sex. He thinks he could just dick me down and everything is going to be good. So those are the two different concerns that Bobby has with each of the guys. And I feel like if I were him, I would choose Island Boy only because he's already been with Rerun. You've already been with Rerun. You already know how he operates. You already know the things he's apparently allegedly done to you in the past as far as cheating and everything. And let's face it, as I've said from the beginning, Rerun is here for an opportunity. He's here for a check to be on TV for exposure. So his OnlyFans subscriptions will go up. I don't feel like Island Boy is completely here for that. I feel like he genuinely likes Bobby. I feel like he really does. It might not be like head over heels craziness about him, but I really feel like he genuinely thinks Bobby's attractive, wants to get to know him, wants to see where it goes. Even though he's done some shady shit, I still believe that. Now they do a one-on-one date in this undisclosed location, which yet again, like I've said, is probably just an Airbnb or a hotel that they went and rented out. And Island Boy and Bobby, they have a little one-on-one first by themselves. And during the date, Bobby brings up that Island Boy, you know, he's like, the one concern I have with you is that when we did the cell phone challenge, you let me see your phone, and I noticed that you had deleted text messages between you and Davion. That makes me worry. And it's also wasn't setting well with Bobby. And we get to the end of the episode. We don't get to see Island Boy's response. They leave it on a cliffhanger. So we don't get to see what Island Boy says back to Bobby about these text messages. But that is something to worry about. You can tell when someone deletes messages because the conversation doesn't really make sense. So what were you hiding, Island Boy? That's why I'm excited to get Davion on here to talk to him, because Island Boy claims it was just a kiss, but I think there was more there than a kiss. And I'm going to ask Davion that. Did more happen? Because they were in this house. Cameras didn't roll 24/7. Where a bunch of men, a bunch of horny gay men are in a house together in Miami, drinking and smoking, filming a TV show. Something was bound to go down. Why did you delete these messages, Island Boy? What were in these messages? We're going to find out, okay? We're going to get to the end of it. And like I said earlier, Zeus could have wrapped this up. This could have been the season finale, and he could have chose the dude. You know, this was episode 10. 10 episodes would have been just enough. So we're pretty much at the end now. They filmed the reunion the other day. So the reunion, we will be getting a reunion for the show. A lot of people were wondering, would we be getting a reunion? Bobby said at the beginning of the season there would be no reunion because he got pissed at all the guys. But we are having one. It will be hosted by Claudia Jordan and Jason Lee. I don't really care for Jason Lee, but I don't mind Claudia Jordan. So that'll be something that we can look forward to and review and talk about here on the channel. Like I said, I feel like Island Boy is going to win, but something also tells me, like, what if Bobby pulls a fast one on us and chooses rerun? I don't know. I don't know. So who's going to win? Who's going to win this dating competition? Jameson, aka Island Boy, or Andre, aka Rerun? Join the conversation. Chime in below. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Island Boy is going to win, or do you think that Andre Rerun is going to win? Also, do you think Island Boy and Rerun have chemistry? Do you think there's more there between those two, and that's why they bicker and fight like a married couple? And should they all just call it quits and be in a throuple? Island Boy, Bobby, and Rerun, and just call it a competition and be done and run off to the sunset with each other. And who would you choose if you were in Bobby's spot? Who would you choose? Would you choose Island Boy or would you choose Rerun? I want to hear from you guys. Make sure if you haven't subscribed yet to subscribe below because we're almost to 1,000 subscribers. Join the conversation and comment below. So I want to hear from you what you thought about the episode and the review, as well as my commentary. And like this video so it can be shared all throughout YouTube and more people can find us here at Damien After Dark. I appreciate you all so much for watching. We'll see you next week. Make sure you look out for that interview with Davion from the show. And check out my Baddies West audition review. I just posted that today as well. I love you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next week.